subject hydrology, chapter hydrology basics, topic determination of rainfall depth and methods of determination, right? So now students, we have already discussed about the precipitation, what are the various types of weather systems, right? We have discussed, we have already solved some numericals also, right? Based on the determination of rainfall or precipitation. Now let's come to this topic, that is the determination of rainfall depth and methods of determination, right? So what is this rainfall depth? That is also known as the mean precipitation, right? So this topic is very important because in previous year GATE examinations questions have been asked from this topic and they were direct questions, right? Okay, so this topic is important. So mean rainfall depth or the average rainfall depth is also known as the mean precipitation. So basically we have three methods of determination of mean rainfall. So first one is the arithmetic method, second one is the Thiessen-Polygon or the Thiessen mean method, and third one is the isohydraulic method. So let's discuss each method one by one, right? So first of all, let us discuss the arithmetic mean method. So always remember that the arithmetic mean, what is arithmetic mean? 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 divided by the number of terms, right? Simple, right? Now, when it is used, it is only used when suppose that you have a number of stations, right? This is your catchment area, okay? You have station number 1, station number 2, rain gauge station number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and so on. But the precipitation or the rainfall recorded at each station, it is not very much. For example, let us say that you recorded at station 1 that the rainfall depth was 12.1 centimeter. Here it was 12.2 centimeter. Here 11.9 centimeter. Here you can say 12.15 centimeter and so on. So if the rainfall depth is not very much, then at that time you have to use the arithmetic mean method. So arithmetic mean method, it says that the mean precipitation or P bar or the average rainfall depth, right? It is given by summation of all the precipitation divided by the number of stations, right? That is P1 plus P2 plus P3 plus P4 plus so on to Pn divided by the number of stations. Clear? I hope that you have understood about the arithmetic mean method. That is a very simple method, right? The same method which you are already using in statics also, probability also, same method, right? Now coming to the Thiessen mean method, this question has been asked in GATE examination. So in Thiessen mean method, what we do is that, suppose that, let me rub this and let me make you understand by drawing a broader picture. So let me rub this because we have already understood the first concept, right? So let me rub this. Right? So arithmetic mean method was a very simple method, right? Now let's come to it's little bit complicated but not very much complicated, right? So if you understand it thoroughly, you will understand it, right? That is also an easy, you can say, method. So in your Thiessen mean method, what we are doing is that, suppose that this is our catchment area. This is our catchment area. Clear? In the arithmetic mean method, what we were doing? We were taking the precipitations of each stations, right? We were not going out of the catchment area. Whatever the stations were inside the catchment area, we were taking those areas into consideration only, right? But in case of the Thiessen mean method, if suppose some station is here, number 1, right? This will also be taken into consideration, right? Number 1, let us say number 2 is inside this, right? This is your number 3. This is your number, let us say 4. Let us say number 5 is here. And number 6 is here, like this. Let us say you have 6 stations. Okay? Now in Thiessen mean method, again, understand it very thoroughly. What we have to do, first of all, by drawing lines, we have to join these stations, right? It means that I will join these. Let me join these stations, right? Let me join these stations. Okay. And we have to join these stations such that they form triangles, right? Now how to form triangles? Now if I join this, it will become a triangle. If I join this, it will become a triangle. If I join this, it will become a triangle, right? Same if I join this, it will become a triangle. And same also if I join this, it will become a triangle. Simple. Even if I join this, it will become a triangle. But let's not make it more complicated. Clear? Now the next step would be, now you have understood we have to make triangles. Now the next step would be, we have to draw the perpendicular bisectors. Now what is a perpendicular bisector? Which bisects a line into two parts, and that line is actually perpendicular to that line, right? So we have to draw perpendicular bisectors to each line. For example, this is 1 to 5. So the perpendicular bisector would be somewhere here. This is the perpendicular bisector, right? For 1 to 4, the perpendicular bisector would be somewhere here, like this, right? Like this. Clear? For this 2 to 4, the perpendicular bisector would be somewhere here, like this. Clear? For 4 to 3, it would be somewhere here, like this. Clear? For 1 to 2, it would be somewhere here, like this. Clear, right? For 2 to 3, it would be somewhere here, like this, right? For 4 to 6 also, it would be somewhere here. For 5 to 4, it would be somewhere here, right? For 5 to 6, it would be somewhere here. And for 6 to 3 or 3 to 6, it would be somewhere here, right? Now these perpendicular bisectors would be meeting somewhere. I don't know where they will be meeting, but they will be meeting somewhere, right? Let us say that for this line they meet at here, for this they meet at here, right? Let me draw this, 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 right? Let us say they are meeting somewhere, right? So, and for this they are meeting this way, right? They are meeting like this, clear? For this they are meeting like this, they are meeting like this, right? They are meeting like this, right? Is anybody left? No, nothing is left. Now they are already meeting, right? Let us say they are meeting here, like this and this, like they are the meeting, right? Clear? Now you know that when we in the figure also you can see that when we have joined the perpendicular bisectors, what are they doing? They are actually making a type of polygon, right? So this is also a polygon, 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 this, right? So we have got various polygons, right? Now what we have to do is that we have to calculate the weighted factor, right? Weighted factor. Suppose that this polygon, let me take another marker to make you understand, right? Let us say that this polygon has an area of, let us say, A1, right? And this let's capital A1, that it is capital A1, right? This polygon has an area of, let us say, capital A2, this has capital A3, this has capital A4, this has capital A5, and this has capital A6. The middle one has capital A6 area, right? We have formed the polygons. Now what we have to do is that we have to calculate the weighted factor. The weighted factor. Weighted factor. Now what is this weighted factor? So weighted factor is actually AI divided by the total area. For example, you have to calculate the weighted factor for A. Let's say this is A4. Let's say this is A4. So you have to calculate the weighted factor for A4. So what would you do? You will do A4 divided by A1 plus A2 plus A3 plus A4 plus A5 plus A6. Right? This A is the total area. Right? And what we have to do is that we have to multiply this weighted factor with the precipitation of that particular area. So this formula will become that the P bar, let me write it here, the P bar will be equal to, let us say that the precipitation for station 1 is P1, right? So P1, which area is surrounding it? So A1 is nearest to it. The area of polygon A1 is nearest to it into A1. Plus, let us say for station 2 it is A2. P2 into A2. Station 3 it is A3. P3 into A3. For station 4, this is your station 4. Where is station 4? This is station 4, but it is for station 6, right? So let's not complicate it. 1, 2, 3, let us say this is 4. Let us say this is 4, this is 5, and let us say this is 6. So that we don't get complicated, we get a sequence, right? So for this fourth station, it will have precipitation P4 and the area of polygon is A4. For this station 5, we have area of polygon A5, P5 into A5, P5 into A5, and similarly for this bigger polygon, we have a station 6 which will have a precipitation P6, right? So P6 into A6 divided by A1 plus A2 plus A3 plus A4 plus A5 plus A6, which will give us the total area A. Clear? Or I can also write it like this, right? I can also write it like this. It will be equal to summation of Pi into Ai divided by total A, where I varies from 1 to n for n number of stations, right? And this Ai upon A is the weighted factor. Is the weighted factor. It is also known as the weighted area also, right? It is known as the weighted factor, right? So I can also write it like this, that summation of I equal to 1 to n Pi into Wi. What is Wi? Wi is the weighted factor for that particular station. Yeah? But this is more appropriate. This is more appropriate. This will be your P bar. Okay? So that is how we determine the mean precipitation by using the Thiessen mean method. And these polygons, this polygon, right? These polygons which are formed by the joining of perpendicular bisectors are known as the Thiessen polygons, because Thiessen was a scientist, so he gave us this method, and these polygons are known as the Thiessen polygons. Clear? Let me again repeat it, because this is important, right? Let me again repeat it, right? So what we have to do? First of all, we have to join all the stations and we have to make triangles as far as possible, as many as possible. The more triangles, the more accuracy. But so that it does not get very complicated, I did not join these you can say lines, right? So that it does not get more complicated, right? So we have to form triangles. Okay, now triangles have been formed. Now what we have to do is that we have to join the perpendicular bisectors of each triangle, right? Of each line, we have to join the perpendicular bisectors. The perpendicular bisectors will be giving us some polygons. And how to measure the area of polygon? By planimeter. In surveying also you must have heard about this term, the planimeter. Planimeter. This is an instrument which is used for the measurement of area. Planimeter. Important, right? So planimeter, by the help of planimeter, will measure the areas A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, A6, right? And what we do is that we will calculate the weighted area. Right? Even if you don't want to calculate the weighted area, just apply this formula, you will get the answer. Even if you don't want to calculate the weighted area. Right? So this is your Ai upon A is the weighted area, and that is how you get the mean precipitation or the average mean depth. Clear? So I hope you have understood this. Now let's come to the last method, that is the isoheital method, right? Isoheital method. Isoheital or isoheital method. Right? Now first of all, let us understand what are these isoheights. Clear? Now, in contours, in your surveying, what you have seen, the contour lines, right? The lines joining the points of same elevation, right, are known as the contour lines, right? If it is a mountain, they are like this, the concentric circles, right? If it is a ridge, you know that contour lines, they do not intersect except in the case of ridge, and let us say if you have basically the case of a ridge or cliff, right? They sometimes intersect. Clear? Now you know that same goes with the isoheights also, right? Now what is this iso? Iso means same, and the height is represented for rainfall. It means isoheights are the lines joining the stations of same rainfall. Simple. Of same rainfall. Clear? So this is important because this question has been asked in examinations, that the isoheights are, right? So 4 options are given. The correct option is the lines joining the stations of equal or same rainfall are known as the isoheights. Okay? Similarly, you have isobars. Isobars in your when you are doing your consolidation experiment in geotech. So isobars are the lines joining the equal pressure area or equal pressure distances are known as the isobars, right? Similarly, isoheight means the lines joining the areas or the stations of equal rainfall are known as isoheight. Simple. Now, how to implement this method, right? Now, the implementation of this method goes like this. Let me rub it, right? Because this question has been asked, what are isoheights? Even in interviews also this question has been asked many times with a lot of students, right? So isoheights, you should know what are isoheights and how to measure the area by the use of planimeter, right? So planimeter is used for the measurement of area. I hope you are getting it, right? Because this is important. That is why I am focusing so much on this topic. Clear? Now let's understand the next method, that is the isoheight. So in isoheight, what we are doing is that, let us say that this is your catchment area. And what is the catchment area? I am not going to repeat, I have already told you, right? Now this is a catchment area, clear? Let us say we have station number 1, and here also we also consider the stations which are you can say out of the catchment area, we also consider those stations also, right? Let us this station number 1, let us this station number 2, this is station number 3, this is station number 4, this is station number 5. Let us say these are ISO heights. The lines would be like this, right? Joining the equal rainfall depth stations, right? They would be like this. It would be like this, passing from 4.4, passing from 0.5, right? They can also be like this, but for simplicity, just to make you understand, I have drawn the lines like this, right? Let us say that because these lines are joining the areas of equal precipitation, let us say the precipitation for this ISO height, which is passing from station A, is P1. Let us say that the precipitation of this ISO height passing from the station 2 is P2, for this P3, for this P4, for this P5. Clear? Okay. Now what we have to do is that we have to calculate the area between the ISO heights. The area between the ISO heights, right? So let us say that the area between these two ISO heights is A1. Let us say that the area between these two ISO heights is A2, right? Not you can say beyond, just the area of this catchment. No, we don't have to go beyond, right? Area of this catchment, right? A1, A2, let us say this is A3, let us say this is A4, okay, right? Now what we have to do is that, now the formula is P bar, or the mean precipitation by the isohydral method, is A1 into, now we have to take the average of 2, P1 plus P2 divided by 2. P1 plus P2 divided by 2. Plus, now between 2 and 3 we have A2. So A2, P2 plus P3 divided by 2. Plus, now between P3 and P4 we have A3. So A3 into P3 plus P4 divided by 2. And between 4 and 5 we have A4 plus A4 into P4 plus P5 divided by 2 and divided by the total area, that is A1 plus A2 plus A3 plus A4. That is the total area, where, let me write it here, where capital A is A1 plus A2 plus A3 plus A4 and plus A5. So this is the method which is used for the determination of rainfall depth, average rainfall, the mean precipitation by the use of isohydral method. Clear? Now your practice should be such that just by reading the you can say question, you will understand which formula to apply, right? Because a few years back a question came from the Thiessen polygon method, so it was mentioned there, right, that the polygon area is this much, 600 kilometers square, 1500 kilometers square, right? When I will be solving the previous year numericals on this chapter, I will be solving that numerical. That was a very easy numerical, right? Okay, so everything was given to you, just have to apply the formula, right? Now just by reading at the numerical, you must understand which formula to apply, right? Most probably it will be given where to solve it by the isohydral method, or the iso heights will be given to something like that. Clear? So I hope students that you have understood how to determine the average rainfall depth, which is also known as the mean precipitation, and what are the methods of precipitation, right? So in books we have been given 3 methods. First one is the arithmetic mean method, the second one is the Thiessen mean method, and the third one is the isohydral method. Right? So if you ask me which one is more important, so isohydral and the Thiessen polygon both are important, right? As far as the mean is concerned, that is not very important. These types of questions on the basis of mean, they are asked in small exams, like for example it's just a state PSC AE exam or some other exam, but in GATE examination he will not be asking you about the mean method, right? And about the accuracy, so the arithmetic method is least accurate, then we have the Thiessen mean method, and the most accurate is the this isohydral method. Isohydral method is most accurate. This is the according accuracy. Hence the arithmetic mean method is rarely used, right? It is rarely used because it is not accurate. It is rarely used. Clear? So I hope you have understood this topic. Now let's move to the next videos and let's solve a few numericals based on this method. So let's meet in the next video. Thank you.